What's going on, Falcon fans? This is what I'm do. Coming back at you with another video. Today we're going to talk about the keys to victory for this division game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our second division game of the season. Hey, this is for first place. It's real early in the season, but if the Falcons were to get this out today, they'll be in first place in the NFC South. The fastest way to get into the playoffs is win your division, and the Falcons will have a chance to go 2-0 this Sunday in Tampa Bay. My first time at the stadium. I can't wait to get down there to watch our boys live, to get back on track. Unlike the other weeks when the team lose, it feels like we the get right team for them. But guess what? We're coming off a loss ourselves, so we want to get back in the win column. So this is going to be a pretty good game. Both of these teams know each other. It's a little bit different sitting the caller down there in Tampa Bay. However, they still have that good defense. Todd Bowles is still there calling the game on the defensive side of the ball. So it's going to be tough for us to get this win this weekend. But I think the Falcons do have, you know, a chance to go down and get a win, this division game win. We got to see it. Baker Mayfield is definitely playing better this year. Seems like they're really getting rid of the ball quick out of his hand. He only been sacked 5 times, so it's going to be a tough task for our guys. To provide pressure because Baker Mayfield is getting rid of the ball quick. Um, Still having trouble, running the game. They did have some offensive linemen that retired on them and things like that, and got hurt during the off season. So could be some things that Atlanta Falcons definitely take advantage for on the defensive side. But we're going to look at all those today. The breakdown today, of course, is the injury report from both teams, and then we'll go into the offense, defense, and special team keys. Um, with that being said, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know when I drop another video. Please hit the like button so I know you guys out here I talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So all week we've been talking about the game on Sunday and the the, the pretty much the coaching side of the thing. And I came out here and I had a talk for about like an hour and 14 minutes on my last show when I talked about the reason that I thought who actually was at fault that game. I thought it was a team effort. Some good things to show and some bad things, of course. Of course, the things we're going to definitely um, focus on if end of the game situation of football things. But I feel like throughout these last 3 seasons, Arch Smith definitely have got better in situation of football. As you can look at some certain games, go back to the Washington game a couple of years ago, um, the game with the Jets over in London. Even though we won that game, it's some games that we actually won. If you look at some football, but a lot of people is highlighting what happened this past Sunday in that game, and I really, character. I don't think it had a lot to do with the situation. Yes, if we get those situations right, could have a different outcome. But overall, I just think the 3 turnovers and the punt return gave the Washington Commanders short fields, and they took advantage of all their short fields. So, and that's how it happens sometimes. You cannot turn over ball in the game. I think if you look at statistics, in any football game, any team, more times than not, if you actually, turn the ball over, you're probably gonna lose that game. Especially you have 3 turnovers, and if you want to count that special teams return, that would be considered 4 because they did return that back to the 9 yard line. So you just kick off all those good things, and you're not going to have a whole lot to go off unless you got to play really perfect football, with turnover balls, getting up at special teams, big play, things like that. So unfortunately, the Atlanta Falcons, was not clean in other areas and things like that. So that would cause, um, the loss. Right? Look at statistically, we played well. 402 yards, 5 sacks, only 193 total yards given up. on that Commanders team. But at the end of the day, they won the game, and that's what we can really take it out to. What's going on, James? Yeah, just going back over the game on Sunday. Just recapping it real quick before we get into today's line of line up what I got going on with the keys to victory. But I just really want to just boil down to Atlanta Falcons still got a lot of things to grow on to grow. You like to hear the accountability from the coach himself, accountability from Desmond Ritter. Still learning. One thing that I think that really gets put in don't get put in perspective is that you know quarterbacks today, especially young quarterbacks, they really don't have a lot of time to develop. These teams, a fan base included, definitely want to see, a lightning in a bottle right away. And sometimes that's just not going to be the case. These guys got to learn. The NFL game is so much different than college, and you just have to see it, right? The speed, um, the mindset, the pocket itself, the windows, um, the defenses is so much faster. It's so much nuances to the game. So when a quarterback coming into the pros, it takes some time. Now you do have rare quarterbacks that just playoff instincts because that's something you cannot teach, right? From this God given. Guys like Patrick Mahomes, he mentioned himself. I think it took him to sometimes in his third season he said he just really learned how to start reading defenses, right? But we could barely tell, right? Because he makes so many off scripted plays and things like that. Um, and a lot of the plays that he make, he got a veteran tight end and Travis Kelsey to help him, you know, coach that been coaching for years as a head coach, and all those great teams he had in Philadelphia before he went to Kansas City. So Patrick Mahomes got set up into a good solid situation for him to learn. But his some of his talent, they got get the talent, and then the pieces around him help him develop that way. If you look at a team like the Atlanta Falcons, got a rookie, I mean not a rookie coach, but a young coach, three in his third season, of course. But on the offensive side of the ball, a lot of his playmakers, skill players, they're young as well. So um, you're going to have miscommunication. You're going to have where, for an example, Bijan. I really feel like Bijan did not run that slant the right, and he's a running back, right? If you ask him to go out running back, we do ask Bijan to do so much, but go out and run a perfect route there, and basically he just let the defender cut in front of him and pick off the ball. The mismatch with there, that's the read because you got a linebacker on your running back and they going man to man, so that's the right read. You want to take that, but things happen. You see James here, just too many mistakes. I agree 100%. You cannot, you know, um, make those mistakes because if you do, um, these outcomes you have, right? And then everybody gets to scrutinize, every little small play, and that's what we saw this week, right? Um, the whole thing about the last play of the game, the last drive of the game with the situation of football, they get magnified because, we're down, we're trying to score the 2 point conversion, which I believe has you know, um, no effect to the outcome of that game at all. In my opinion, it just does not. But people want to use that as just dumb coaching and things. When you look at plays like going for it on fourth down and going for it for two, it's not. It's more of being aggressive. That's what I look at. I look at it as you might be too aggressive, you know, and if you do it too often and you're never successful in things like that, that's when you start to be saying dumb coaching, right? You look at a guy like Staley from the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers. He does that all the time. He probably one of the coaches that, he take chances on his side of the field at the 20-yard line and go for it on fourth down. So some of these coaches, especially these young coaches, get tied up into analytics a little too much, and get away from the traditional traditional football aspect, and then they start to, you know, think too much about the game, right? But in my opinion, I like aggression. And I always put it, and I know I'm not the coach, but when I'm playing Madden, I'm always going for it on fourth down, right? Um, so like James said, take their points. Yeah, you're right. Should have took the points. Would have been down 7, right? But if you look at it on this side, the way he was looking at it analytical in the fourth quarter, if you do get the 2-point conversion, now you're down 6, and 7 points will win the game for you. That's the thought. That's the thought process. Um, right or wrong, that's what's the thought process. At the end of the day, we were still only down 1 score. Yes, we would have to go for 2 again to tie the game up, but that's what if you took the 7 and then you take 7 again, you're still gonna have a tie game. So, um, like I said, don't know if they took that much thought process in it, but hindsight 2020, when you think about it, things like that. So that's what you got. So anyway, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the the injury report for both teams today. And actually, right, if you make it, that's a great point. If you make it, I mean, in sometimes you just got to tip your hat off to um the other team, because Deron Payne stuffed Tyler Algier on that 2-point conversion. He was in the end zone, and Deron Payne stuffed him, man. You just have to tip your hat off to that. That's what happened. He stuffed him, and there's nothing we can do about that. All right, so let's get into our little lineup today. Of course, first of all, we're going to talk about the injury report for both teams. So, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's pretty clean injury report. They got 2 guys on the injury report this week. They got Anthony Nelson, um, who, who actually had a full practice today, so with a concussion, probably from last week. So that's not an issue for them. And then Vita Vea was a limited practice today, so it looked like going into Sunday's game that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to have a pretty clean injury report, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to be mano y mano, us against them. One thing about division games, which you like, everybody knows everybody. So um, it's no surprises, right? It's not like we playing um, Houston Texans like we played a Jacksonville Jaguars, teams like that we don't see as often. And you got to try to figure out the schemes. No, when you play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, and the Carolina Panthers, hey, we know these guys. They know us. Mano y mano. Let's see who's going to come out and get this win this week. These are the kind of games that usually go down, be tight games. You remember last year, definitely had the tight game in Tampa. I felt like we got cheated out of that game. I know everybody know what I'm talking about. Um, with that phantom roughing the passer penalty that was called. But we lost that by a score. So that's really where it happens sometimes. But these going to be good matchups between both teams. But for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, those guys are going to have clean. For the Atlanta Falcons, it's pretty much the same. Of course, today's Wednesday, so Calais Campbell take his day off, rest. Guy been in 16 years. I think it's probably going to be like that for the rest of the season. Just give him that Wednesday off. You know, take a physical break. Probably mentally still locked in, getting ready for the game, but physically he don't need to be out there. We know he know what he needs to do to get himself ready for the game. So takes his normal Wednesday rest day off. And you gotta love to see that. Also, congratulations to Calais Campbell. I don't think I mentioned that on Monday. He did get his 100, and he was good to his word. He was going to hit the dirty bird once he got it, and he did a pretty good job too. That was a pretty good dirty bird. I wish we could have came out with the win on that one. Be a little bit more celebratory for Calais getting that, especially get the sack, get 100 sack, and then get the win as well. That would have been really nice. But congratulations, Calais Campbell. Not that many people have reached that milestone. I could we probably can go ahead and pencil him in going into Canton one day. Once he decided, to put up his cleats and things like that. So congratulations, Calais Campbell. He's the only one that was on the injury report day, but it was not injury related, just rest day, just like normal for Calais Campbell. James said the run Payne was not blocked. Definitely was not blocked. And he stuffed that play, man. I thought we had that 2-point conversion stone cold, but hey, that's the way it happens. Still, don't think it had an effect on the game at all. That's just my opinion. We would never know because we lost anyway. So, all right. One thing I do want to mention that I didn't have on the highlight in the lineup today was the release of Jalen Hawkins. I guess we definitely need to talk about that here today. Shocky. It was a guy that actually during the off season going into training camp, it's a guy that I had on the needing to make sure he played well during the off season and when what he do in training camp and in preseason and things like that to make sure he does not lose his job. And it seemed like he was safe, right? But with the emergence of DeMarco Helms, and we've seen DeMarco was taking snaps in these last couple of games from Jalen Hawkins, and we know what DeMarco Helms did, during the offseason program, training camp, preseason games. He flashed so much, um, and he was able to surpass Jalen Hawkins on the depth chart, and they decided to release him. Now this is another guy from the Dan Quinn, Thomas Dimitrov era that did not make it. Right, it's only a couple of guys left from that era. We could definitely say that Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot is really building this team in their image. Only a couple of guys are left over, and these guys are all pros and things like that. Guys like Jake Matthews, who's pretty much Iron Man, has not missed a game um, since he's been playing. You got Grady Jarrett, all pro. Guy like AJ Terrell, and then Christian Lindstrom and Caleb McGarry. I think that's the list. If the guys that's left over from the Dan Quinn, Thomas Dimitrov era, all the guys we definitely already gave a contract during this time. Only guys that has not got his contract is AJ Terrell, and definitely believe he's going to be that guy. Going to get the next contract. Oh, I forgot about Young Wei Koo. Young Wei Koo is another guy that just that. James said Hawkins messed up on the punt return. Hey, I can tell you this right here, man. Messing up on plays in this regime. If you guys remember last year, I'm glad you brought it up. Last year, um, and we all remember the Carolina game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium when DJ Moore caught that touchdown pass that should have been the game. He took a helmet off. They gave him a penalty, right? But which guy did he get behind? Right? There's one rule that when they only can score a touchdown, don't get beat deep. Dean Marlowe. And that next week, Dean Marlowe got traded to the Buffalo Bills. Right? Um, so you mess up, man. You make a boo-boo play, a boneheaded play like that. Um, this regime is quick to, especially if you like teetering on the depth chart and things like that, they will get rid of you quick. So um, it's telltale. You can tell. Another guy, I forget his name, but it was the Commanders game, and Taylor Heineke, our backup quarterback now, actually threw a moon ball up to Terry McLaurin in the end zone, and the cornerback sitting right there and let the guy catch the ball, and they released him. So that's a good point. I didn't even realize it was Jalen Hawkins that missed that punt return, man. But that's cold. That's cold blooded. But anyway, in any event, anyway, of course, that's more for DeMarco Helms. He's been playing good. Bringing young talent in that you like. Feel like he can fill in behind Richard Grant and Jesse Bates, and they also bring Michael Abernathy, sign him to the 53-man roster today. So, and we know he actually showed a lot during OTAs earlier this season, training camp, and the things he was doing. So, another guy, hometown guy. They bringing in Michael Abernathy getting added to the 53-man roster. Now, only other thing I'm gonna say about the roster is we are like 2 weeks away from the trade deadline, so it'll be interesting to see what the Falcons decide to do about that. If they decide to make any splash trades or anything like that, or try to bring in somebody else. Um, and when I think about that, it depends on where the Falcons think they're at as a team, right? You're going to invest, taking some draft capital away to bring a guy in, guy that you might have to give a long term contract, anything like that. But it depends on where the Falcons think they're at this year. Maybe they still thinking we're 1 year away from making big splash trades and things like that to go all in. Especially in my opinion, maybe they are because especially with a young quarterback still trying to figure that thing out, making sure that um, we get that right first before we go all in. Because you guys, if you don't have you know the right individual, under center, sitting the caller, things like that, you're not gonna be able to go too far. So, um, but they trade deadline 2 weeks away. They do have money to go out and inquire a guy. We'll see if anything transpire. We'll see. I know some people saying Danielle Hunter is out there, a guy that can definitely come in and help. With our pass rush. We doubled our sacks finally, but still not where we want to be. We at 10 now. From what I wanted to see 40, so we got 30 more sacks to go. It's got a long way to go if we get to that 40 number that I felt that they should be able to get this year. Um, but like I said, those the roster moves where the Falcons at. We'll see what happens in the next 2 weeks if they do it and decide to do it, make any moves. Um, just to give you guys heads up on Jalen Hawkins, he was claimed by the Los Angeles Chargers. So he was not out there quick, and there was not the only team that was looking for him. So the Atlanta Falcons let go a pretty good NFL player, but they felt like a guy like DeMarco Helms, Michael Abernathy could fill those roles, and you know clean up your cap a little bit more because he was in his contract year anyway. So we'll have to see. It probably was not going to bring him back next year. All right, guys. So that's the injury report. That's the word on Jalen Hawkins, the roster moves the Atlanta Falcons have made since Monday, since we talked. Let's get into some of these keys to victory for this week. Um, go back to my traditional offensive keys first. Like I said, this is a divisional game, so they know us, we know them. Um, it's gonna be interesting to see. Um, Last time we played them, we did get the win, but people put an asterisk by that because a lot of their starters did not play in the second half. Of course, Brady came out that game. Desmond Ritter did get his second win in his career during that game, so you can take that for what it's worth. But this is another game. It's in Tampa. This is for first place in the division, so I think this is huge. Um, and we'll have to see what happens. But when we're looking at the first key this week for the Atlanta Falcons on offense, I would say the first thing we need to do is, you know, that line of scrimmage is going to be huge for us. Vita Vea, we need to establish the line of scrimmage early in this game. Desmond Ritter threw the ball for 47 times in the Commanders game. I thought that was telltale that the way the games were going, they were stacking the box. I can almost assure you, Tampa gonna try to utilize the same formula, stack the box and make the young quarterback beat them. But we need to establish the line of scrimmage. Last year, even when they did try to stop the run, we were still able to be successful in the run game. Yes, you add the element of Marcus Mariota being a dual threat himself out of the backfield. So the offense has kind of changed a little bit, but I do believe we need to establish the run. If we able to establish the run in this game, establish the line of scrimmage, it'll open up our passing game even more. So the first key is to go back to our bread and butter. We got to be able to run the ball, continue to be balanced. But establish the line of scrimmage. Somebody get a body on Vita Vea. He won't rake the game. That's what we need to do. Shaq Barrett's out there. They got great inside linebackers in White and can't think of the other linebacker name. Secondary is kind of suspect, so I think we can take advantage of that. But we're gonna have to make sure we protect the quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been good in turnovers this year, so we need to protect the football. That will be my second key. Protect the football. This goes without saying. Like we just talked about statistics. I think Arthur Smith, said it twice this week alone. Is that if you turn the ball over 3 times in a game, you got a 6% chance to win that game. It's just the numbers, right? Of course, you can always, you know, we had a chance to win that game last week. Let's just put it there. But at the same time, you limit your chances when you turn over the ball. So that's what we're gonna say. Try to protect the ball. That will be my second key on offense. Please, please, please. No fumbles, no interceptions. Let's try to protect the ball this week. And if I think we just, you know, do that, I think we will be successful. So that's what I like. Just know to track the ball. You look at the numbers when we don't turn over the ball, and the Falcons definitely have a chance to win most of their games they're in. And the third key, the last key is let's continue to get our playmakers involved. The last 2 weeks, we don't had I think 10 in the Houston game, and then last week 8 guys that actually touched the ball. We need to continue that distribution. That means you're not keying in on one guy. You're playing the offense. You taking what the defense give you. All those good things. That's what you want to see. Desmond Ritter even said in his interview today that he need to stay within the play. Going off script is good when you have to, but if the pocket's clean, take the play. To put the ball where the play takes you. That's really all he has to do. He do that. I think he can eliminate my second key, the fumbles and things like that, and interceptions, and I think we can be successful on offense. So those are my 3 keys on offense this week. Establish line of scrimmage. Let's get back into that run game. Second key, definitely no turnovers. Let's try to have a clean game from the turnover margin in the game. And then the third key is keep the ball distribution going the way it's been going the last 2 weeks. I like that way the offense is going. No, not a lot of points, but you can start to see the offense starting to be better. That's what I like. So let's see here. James says limit mistakes. 100%. That's my second key. Try not limit mistakes, and the mistakes not just to penalty. I mean, not just to turnovers. Of course, about penalties as well. That's huge. Try not to make so many penalties, especially on offense. Holding penalty is a killer for any drive because that's a 10-yard penalty there. Of course, personal fouls is the worst. So those are some of the things we definitely got to look at. Try not to have so many penalties. Limit those mistakes. And then here he say, run the damn ball. Yes, you got to know that's what Arthur Smith wants to do anyway. But sometimes it's just not there. And he mentioned the day on Dukes and Bell. One of the things he mentioned that you got to find other ways to win, right? That's how you evolve as an offense, and he's 100% correct. Yes, running the ball is our bread and butter, but if you can't run, we can beat you like this too. So that's what he trying to establish. The more balance, you got to pick your poison. We be talking about that because of weapons and things like that. But if we can actually start to live up to that, because the Atlanta Falcons have invested a lot on the offensive side of the ball, especially in the draft, right? Um, those guys need to hit, right? Because they need to pay the dividends or your capital that you drafted, especially in your first, your 3 first round picks that you got. You want to see those guys excel. So any way you can get, those guys more touches and starting to be more dominant in the run game. Guy like Bijan and Tyler, and then in the pass game, guys like Kyle and Drake. Right, that's what we want to see. I did like the implementation of Van Jefferson coming in. Um, that was a great route we almost hit, right? That think that comes with more timing and chemistry between him and Drake. I mean, him and Desmond. So we'll see what happened with that. But man, just to throw this out, Desmond threw that ball pretty far. Um, he actually overthrew. That was a pretty good throw. He put like this. Nobody else was gonna catch it, you know. Um, so that's the kind of ball we need. Need to put a little bit more touch on it. The ball to B John. Going back and look at that, do you guys think B John actually, tried to make up too much of a spectacular play? Just put both hands up, might have catch that ball. So I like the shots taken deep. I think we need to take more. I don't think we took enough in that game. We only took 2 shots, but I think we need to try to take more shots um, down the field as well. But go guys, those are my offensive keys. If the Atlanta Falcons can do that, the biggest thing for me is just what James was saying here: limit mistakes, limit mistakes, limit mistakes, and I'm really talking about um, the quarterback here. Limit mistakes, man. Don't be the reason. Don't be the reason. People have to have stuff to talk about when we lose games. Is when you turn over the ball. All right, let's go to the defensive keys. Um, our defense has been playing great football, man. I'm kind of nervous because I don't know if I ever seen Atlanta Falcon defense be so good. It's in week 6, but every week they have been playing well. Yes, they had a little leakage, this last game, but all those on short fields, right? You early in the year we was accustomed to holding teams to 3 points when things like that happen, but um we just couldn't get it done. But our defense have been playing great football. The backside complements the front side so well. That front seven, and tip my hat off to Jeff Okuda. He's back. He looked great. He really does. Um, he's starting to look like that number 3 overall pick that was drafted by the Detroit Lions. Um, just need to stay healthy. I think he's doing such a great job. Him and AJ Terrell allows um, Ryan Nielsen to call such a aggressive game because the way they're playing on the back end, and you got the quarterback in the middle, a guy like Jesse Bates. So you just love to see the way this defense is playing. But we're going to get into our keys um, today. And earlier I mentioned that Baker Mayfield has only been sacked 5 times this season. So with that being said, it's going to be really hard for us to try to put pressure on the quarterback. I think we've been doing a great job with that all season long. Yes, the sack number wasn't there, but if you look at the pressures themselves, they really been solid. So the first key for me is to rattle Baker. He's been too comfortable back there all year long. We need to, can we bring in some of that Cleveland Brown Baker back, make him hesitate, make him throw the ball where it don't needs to go. So we want to be able to pressure the quarterback. Now, the way they've been designed, they've been getting the ball out of his hand really quick this year. A lot of RPOs and things like that. So we need to be smart, need to be fundamentally sound. But if it's designed to get the ball out your hand quick, maybe we can sit on some routes or something like that and take advantage of that. So hopefully let's see if that's something that we can do this week. Put pressure on Baker Mayfield. That's one of the things. We got some big defensive linemen, guys like Calais, Amiyata. Get your hands up because Baker Mayfield is not the tallest guy. So that's one of the things we got to do. But we want to be able to pressure the quarterback. And if we can do that, that's definitely going to help us out in this game. My second key is continue. Just continue to not let guys run the ball. Right, we've been really solid in the run game this year. One thing that we struggled in last year, but this year has not been the case. Um, you have to go back and look, but I think we only gave up 100-yard team this year, and I think that was the Carolinas in the first game. But we have been really good in the run game. Teams have to come out and they have to beat us in the passing game, and that's when we're able to. That's I think we're playing to our strength because our secondary in our front seven. We get them into a passing game. I think it benefits us. So continue to be dominant in the defensive run game, and I think that's going to bode well for these Atlanta Falcons. Because the more we let guys drop back to pass, the more times you can actually create turnovers and things like that. Which brings me to um, my third key. And my third key this week is definitely getting turnovers. It's been a while since we got a turnover. Of course, most of all those turnovers came from Jesse Bates anyway. But the Atlanta Falcons need to get back into the plus side of the turnover game. Right now, we are. I think I heard today was 28th in plus or minus turnover. That's not good. So we need to be able to create turnovers, give our offense more opportunities, like we've been giving other offenses. So we need to create turnovers somehow, some way, on defense. Um, strip sacks, interceptions, anything you can do. We need to try to generate some turnovers this week. If we do that, I think that'll give us a good chance to come away with our division lead down in Tampa. So those are my three keys on the defensive side of the ball. Pressure the quarterback, continue to be dominant in defensive run game, and try to create some turnovers for our Atlanta Falcons. And guys, those are the two football offense defense, but there is always one more teams that we definitely need to talk about, especially we need to highlight it this week because guess what? We gave up a boo-boo last week. And it cost us a game, at 7 points on the board that they might not have if it wasn't been for that punt return back. Um, so that's one of the things we definitely need to pay attention to. Um, so special teams, we're going to go to my number one. Everybody know what it is. Don't have to say it. And it's definitely going to be field position. We have to be able to establish the field position um, for our offense, right? I like the way our special team coach says always, creating first downs for your offense, right? Get 10 yards a first down, you get 20 yards, that's two first downs. All right, that start the offense off. You may not look at it like that, but that's the way it is, right? If you get the ball at the 20 and you run it back to the 35, that's 15 yards less that your offense has to go to move the ball. So that's what you want to do. That's why Avery Williams was so special, especially in the punt return game. He led the league last year and return yards. Get back soon, Avery. We miss you. Um, One good thing about Mike Hughes, he's really safe with the ball. No, knock on wood, don't want to jinx him, but so field position is always key. Um, I think Bradley Pini's doing a good job in the punt game, pinning guys back. I think most of the time we get touchbacks on kickoff, so the kicking game is doing really good. But we need to be able to um, establish good field position. Let our team get in short fields this week, like the Commanders did last week. That would be awesome, right? That's what happened in the Carolina game. With all the interceptions, we got short fields and we capitalized on every last one of those. Um, my second key on special teams is um, make sure we don't let what happened happen again in the kicking game for the Atlanta Falcons, and that's returns for them. Right, we got to eliminate plays like that. That was a huge play in the game, and that's the second time in the last 3 years that the Commanders, that Washington team, has actually ran a kickback on us. 2 years ago they ran a kickoff back coming out the half, and then this year that punt return that put them at a 9 yard line. We have to be able to not let things like that happen. Um, those are game changers. Those are momentum for the other team. So we got to be able to make sure this does not happen. So second key on special team is no explosive plays at all this week. Let's get back and be boring, right? When you think about special teams, you want your special teams to be either boring or you want to be see them do some exciting things in the return game. That's what you want to see. course, you always create turnovers on special teams as well. So not going to take anything away from that. You can create, muff punts, block field goals, fumbles in the kicking game when you doing, you know, kicking the ball off and pointing the ball, things like that. So definitely you have opportunity to create turnovers as well. But from a special team standpoint, those are some of the things that the Atlanta Falcons need to do this week. So guys, those are my keys to victory for the Atlanta Falcons this week. The biggest thing that I want to take away from today's show is that this is a big game. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Yes, it's just game 7. Still got a lot of game left to play, but we want to establish that this is going to be our division to win. So we need to go in this week and be focused, and we need to go to Tampa and get that win. So, like I said, I will be there. I'm excited. Never been to Raymond James Stadium just to see the Atlanta Falcons play. Can't wait to get down there to see that. Hopefully, I won't be upset on the way back. Hopefully, we get a W this year. All right. So guys, that's all I have. Let me know what you think about my keys. Definitely let me know what you think about, the release of Jalen Hawkins. I haven't had a chance to talk to you guys about that. And I'm gonna go ahead and give you a prediction for the game, right? Um, Division game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Going to Tampa, I'm going to say 2017 Falcons. Young Way Cool with the win. That's the way I like it. 2017 Falcons. I think it's going to be a defensive game. I like their defense. Our young quarterback needs to make sure that he protect the ball. Keep that goes for everybody. I think James said it, not just Desmond, but all these guys need to make sure that we think about protecting the football. And we do this week, guys. We can be having another victory Monday, and to get us back over 500, it'll get us the lead in the division, and we'll be 2-0 in the division. So that's all I have. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.